Alright, we have picture. Welcome back to another stream of Assassin's Creed Origins as part of our historical order run, playing from 10 million BC until 1945 in human history focus games. And yeah, we're currently in the year 48 before current era. And we have a time of Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. And yeah, we were last visiting the ancient city of Memphis, one of the oldest capitals of the time of ancient Egypt. And of course situated at the primary source of the Nile, which is definitely a big life giver in this part of Egypt. And yeah, we still have some discovery tours we haven't done yet in this area, including Djoser's pyramid, but also some more in Memphis itself. We have one for temples and priests, which I think I'm going to be doing once I finish with Memphis and the main storyline, because we will basically assassinate one of the priests in the temple. And Artisans I'm gonna do once I do the Becker's Dilemma quest, I think. Which is gonna be pretty much the next one. And after that we still have the Pyramid of Djoser, but we haven't been there yet, so we're gonna wait until we reach that point. Natron is connected to one of the storylines in regards to Bark's first target in the game. Because this is a pyramid, I think, where Bark actually killed the first target. Or could have been the band pyramid, one of them. And then we're already heading further south here. Towards the Fayoum. There actually isn't any discovery tours in this part of Fayoum, even though there's quite a bit of story there. Then down here we only have one in Ohimeria. So Fayoum is gonna be a pretty discovery tour less part of the game, which is fine. Because we had a much higher concentration, you know, in yeah, pretty much all of Giza, Memphis, and especially Alexandria. But yeah, for now though, we're gonna focus on the step pyramid of Djoser. We're gonna do the two discovery tours in relation to that, because we've already had a quest where we explored the pyramid. And then we're gonna head back to the game and focus on more of Memphis before heading back into the discovery tours. Also, hey there, Mr. Goody, welcome in. How's it going, dude? Also, I would just like to make sure that we're actually running an exclusive full screen here. And we should be good.
Inquisition.
I'm so sorry, Stanley. I absolutely forgot about deleting that because I literally just went back on the computer. But I'm gonna take care of it the second. How's it going, dude? I hope you had a good week. Okay, let me see. Alright. Shouldn't trigger anymore going forward. But yeah, vacation was really nice. I really enjoyed the time there on the east coast of Denmark. Never actually been there before, even though I spent a lot of time at the kind of like Eastern Ocean side there. but more like on the German and like Sweden and like Poland side though. So it was cool to see that side from like Denmark. And yeah, I think Denmark is a really beautiful country for sure. Definitely still prefer the western shore side, because much more like, you know, like a wide ocean kind of type. But yeah, it was very nice for sure. Doggo really enjoyed her time there too. Like she was actually going crazy in like the sand and stuff, just like digging everywhere and like even swimming in the ocean. Like usually she doesn't like to have anything to do with water in terms of like rain and like, you know, being like bathed and stuff. But yeah, ocean, she was like, I'm all for it. Let's do it. So I had some good times for sure. Right, so we're gonna learn a bit about the step pyramid complex of Djoser. Learn about the layout of the first stone monument erected by mankind, the step pyramid complex of Djoser.
Welcome to the Step Pyramid Complex of Djoser. The Step Pyramid is at the center of an enclosed complex, comprised of temples, models of palaces, and artificial constructions, all built for the afterlife of Pharaoh Djoser. The funeral complex itself covers 15 hectares and is located on the highest point of the Saqqara Plateau. It's clear from the elaborate detail and scale of the complex that this was a technological marvel of its time. The only fragment of information regarding the design plans of the complex was discovered on a section of stone containing an architectural sketch of a vault.
Hey there, Adam, welcome in. Thank you so much, dude, I really appreciate it. Yeah, we're gonna go and focus on finishing Memphis today. Still got a target to kill and a couple side quests to tackle. But yeah, first we're learning a bit about the Djoser's step pyramid. Love those history lessons, same here. Such a nice addition if you wanna, you know, expand your knowledge on the history. And of course of the history predating this setting as well. Just crazy how rich the culture feels in this game, with this particular period coming to a close end.
The Step Pyramid is the first monument built of stone. Standing at 60 meters high, it was the tallest of its time. Built 4,700 years ago, it was originally intended as a mastaba, which was a flat-roofed rectangular tomb. Its famous architect, Imhotep, may have felt this was too humble for the great pharaoh Djoser and began to add the steps.
It's really cool seeing like how it evolved, you know. Like this was really one predating, you know, the more typical pyramids. And it makes sense because they hadn't really figured out yet how to make it like smooth edges on the outside and like perfect symmetry. But adding, you know, the additional like master bars on top of each other, basically creating like a, you know, kind of like more static wall pyramid. You know, still makes for the same like overall, you know, idea of having like a, you know, like ascending, like getting more tighter kind of like aspect. Stanley learned about pregnancy tests in ancient Egypt. Apparently was found on a papyrus that a woman would urinate on barley or wheat seeds, and if they start sprouting, it meant that she was pregnant. In 60s, they tested the theory on men, non-pregnant woman and pregnant woman, and apparently works. Yeah, that's some really interesting ways of figuring that out. In fact, I think one of the Discovery Tours even talks about what you just said. Definitely in relation to like, you know, when they would be like a pregnancy test. I'm not sure if it was exactly the same, but yeah, I think it definitely is talked about at some point in this mode as well. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Like how advanced they were in like finding out ailments and how to figure out, you know, if someone is being affected by a certain condition. And how much of that knowledge eventually was lost to people who couldn't really, you know, maybe also decipher some of the writings. And of course with like so much knowledge also getting lost due to time or burning. It's awesome, it's the kind of knowledge that makes you giddy inside.
The Step Pyramid complex is enclosed within a 1,600-meter long wall that is 10 meters high. This large wall was made out of white limestone and oriented along the north-south axis. While there are 14 doors, only its eastern door was intended to accommodate the living. The remaining false doors were built as portals for the king's ka to pass through. Along with false doorways, the walls were designed with bastions and steeples resembling a defensive wall. The positioning of these design elements suggest that they were related to the Hebset festival.
Soundtrack is such a nice addition.
The only real entrance into the complex is at the end of a long, narrow passageway. This enclosure has a stone canopy carved to resemble wooden logs. At the end of the passage is a large opening. Meant to resemble a doorway, it has carved doors and hinges that are permanently open and immovable.
Also, how's it going, Godi? Definitely get that religion.
The corridor is lined with 20 pairs of columns up to 6 meters high, built by stacking stone drums. The completed facade was made to resemble reed stock bundles. Traces of red paint were found on the columns, along with black paint on the support walls. This would have had the effect of blending the walls into the shadows to give the red columns the illusion of standing on their own.
If I can't kill you in this mode, then I can at least annoy you, right?
Chambers are located on either side of the columns and are thought to be chapels representing the provinces of Upper and Lower Egypt. According to some Egyptologists, the arrangement of the rooms may be symbolic of jurisdiction and judgment. Guarded by a line of carved snakes, this tomb is located at the southern end of the courtyard. The burial chamber is beneath it, down a 30-meter deep shaft. The low-ceilinged chamber resembles a mastaba and is relatively intact compared to the later burial chamber. The tomb is made of pink granite, though there is evidence it was once polished limestone. Too small for a body, it is possible that the tomb was intended for the king's ka, or to hold the canopic jars containing the king's organs. Later traditions in burials would have the canopic jars in the same chamber as the body. A polished limestone staircase leads west from the tomb to underground apartments. Some of these rooms were intended to accommodate the king and his family in the afterlife. Many large jars of pottery were found, including some that still had deposits of beer, milk, and oil inside them. The false doorways are decorated with reliefs of the king taking part in rituals. In these reliefs, he is seen carrying agricultural tools, running, and performing a ritual for the reanimation of the deceased.
It makes you wonder how this war kind of looked like in its prime. There was also like blue and green accents, or if like the green kind of happened to, happen to be later. But you can definitely imagine.
Let them not remain motionless. Let them not corrupt.
Definitely don't let them corrupt or stay motionless. Motionless like Osiris. Hey there, Dr. Darling, welcome in.
The architect Imhotep chose stone as a building material in order for the complex to last. Following the completion of the initial mastaba, Imhotep devised a burial of more ambitious dimensions. He set about stacking mastabas on top of each other. Evidence shows that the pyramid was enlarged twice by additional cuts into the steps, eventually reaching 62 meters in height and 121 meters by 109 meters at its base. A staircase allowing the pharaoh to enter the divine world was represented by a tiered pyramid, oblong in shape, completely enveloping the original mastaba. The pyramid itself is a solid structure. All of the chambers and tunnels are beneath the structure. Pharaoh Djoser the Sacred was the founder of the Third Dynasty. He ruled for 19 years. During his reign, he was known as Horus Negereket, divine of the body. He was given the name Djoser several centuries after his death as a sign of respect, and he is regarded as one of the greatest pharaohs of Egypt. An apocrypha was drafted in his name during the Ptolemaic period, 2,500 years after his death.
Get to the chopper!
Get to the chopper. A classic ancient Egyptian minstrel song. Ezra just had to make his appearance. He always finds a way to intrude on others with his minstrel songs.
Djoser was associated with the sky god Horus in his human form. A plinth near the step pyramid is inscribed with his name and associated with Horus. He was the first to reside in Memphis, making it the central hub of government for the region. Djoser was known to have built many temples and monuments before the complex at Saqqara. The funerary complex was the first of its kind and would mark Djoser's greatest architectural achievement. The funerary complex was built to resemble Djoser's palace, with the stone carved to imitate mud brick, trees, and reeds. Creating these details and softer textures in hard stone would have been a time-consuming, labor-intensive task. Much of the complex is designed to accommodate the Hebsed festival, allowing the king the ability to affirm his rule even in the afterlife.
There's lots of German here to find because this was written by Karl Richard Lepsius in 1849. But he's kind of talking about the west to east diameter. And is saying that the dimensions don't really match up between each other. If you go by the kind of like plans of pairing, which I assume is another scientist who, tried to work out the dimension of the pyramid. And he's talking about the edges of the stone kind of like being inwarded towards the pyramid at the edges. And that it's like a Mokatten type of stone. I'm not sure what Mokatten would be in English. Nor is it really like a type of term I've heard much in the German language either. So I assume it must be a very specific type of stone that they've used here.
In the corner is a temple referred to as T. This temple is among the most mysterious structures in the complex. Its outer facade is plain, while inside it is decorated with intricate jed pillars and carvings. It's possible that this place was intended to be where the Ka of the king materialized, symbolically visiting the platform of the Hebsed courtyard from the afterlife. The Hebsed festival enabled the pharaoh to maintain universal order and renew godly powers. Through a series of trials and religious rites, such as dance, offerings, and visiting the sanctuaries of various deities, the ruler's vital force and divine nature was confirmed. The celebration was meant to represent the ruler's jubilee and would take place every 30 years, though the deadline was not always followed. The earliest known ritual dates from the First Dynasty.
Talk about traditions being kept alive since the First Dynasty.
Within the complex of Djoser, southeast of the pyramid, is a dedicated space for this essential ritual to be performed by the king even in the afterlife. The Hebsed courtyard is lined with false chapels and equipped with a platform featuring 2 staircases meant to represent Upper and Lower Egypt. Located in the courtyard, the 2 pavilions are believed to represent the palaces of Upper and Lower Egypt. Rectangular in shape, the 2 replica structures face one another. Their facade is similar to the chapels of the Hebsed ceremony, with column crowns carved to look like falling leaves. Because Queen Hetep-Hernepti and Princess Inetkas's names were discovered on a stela near the pavilions, it is thought that these funerary chapels were intended for them. The funerary temple is on the north side of the complex, facing the stars where the deceased ruler was believed to travel after death. Within this temple was the pharaoh's serdab, or cellar. It is a small, enclosed space with one wall sloped to match the first step of the pyramid. The north wall has two observation holes. A statue of Djoser is seated on the throne, wearing a mantle and a tripartite wig with a crown known as a Nemes. Representing the king's ka, this statue looks through the observation holes into the courtyard, enabling the king to observe the ceremonies and receive offerings in the afterlife.
I really like these type of crowns. Reminds me of the ones that the pharaohs are wearing in the movie The Prince of Egypt. Yeah, the design of it is quite unique. Or crown. That was the step pyramid complex of Djoser. Now we're also gonna go ahead and have a look inside the pyramid here. Of course, this was just like, you know, the complex outside of it. Learn about Djoser's step pyramid and Imhotep's influence on the evolution of the pyramidal architecture.
Welcome to Inside Djoser's Step Pyramid.
Hey there, T-Base, welcome in. How's it going?
The architect of the step pyramid, Imhotep, was a man of great importance to Pharaoh Djoser and ancient Egyptians in general. The base of a statue of Djoser, discovered in 1926, celebrates Imhotep as a carpenter, sculptor, stonemaker, and chief of the seers. Little is known of Imhotep's day-to-day life. While he is credited for writing medical texts, it is for his role of architect that he is most famously known.
I'm doing well, thank you. Learning a bit about the Djoser's step pyramid at the moment. How have you been, T-Base?
From the design of the pyramid to the elements within the complex itself, Imhotep set out to create something that would immortalize his king. An architectural achievement, the step pyramid was made from stone blocks instead of mud brick. It was the first time Egyptians built a monument of that height. Imhotep explicitly intended for the stone to reflect natural materials. The funerary complex of Djoser remained famous throughout the centuries and millennia, and its great architect, Imhotep, was deified by ancient Egyptians during the late period.
Oh good, have you been doing any 100% playthroughs on the AC games? I have, yeah. Yeah, about like, it must have been about 4 years ago or so, I've played through the entire series with a 100% challenge. To kind of like prepare for Valhalla being launched. And yeah, I've also played through the games 100% before that point, just not like back to back, I guess. Some games have 100% more than others, but the ones I probably 100%ed most amount of times are AC2, Origins, Black Flag, and Unity.
In addition to the central subterranean palace built for Djoser, 11 wells were dug. Each went to a depth of 33 meters and connected with a horizontal gallery extending for about 20 meters. The first 5 galleries were intended for members of the royal family. Two passages lead underground and branch off in 3 directions to various magazine galleries. This vast underground space accommodated sections for storage and ceremonial offerings. One of the tunnels, starting on the east side of the pyramid, contained 40,000 stone vessels, many of them belonging to the king's ancestors. The burial chamber of Djoser is located at the bottom of a 28-meter deep central shaft. According to Egyptologist Jean-Philippe Lauer, the chamber was originally made from polished blocks of limestone, while its ceiling was decorated in 5-pointed stars. At some point, however, the limestone blocks were replaced entirely by pink granite blocks, leaving behind only fragments of limestone blocks decorated with stars.
I didn't even pay attention to these when I went to explore the pyramid, because it's so focused on like the ground level if you have like tall rooftops like this. Interesting.
At the foot of the chamber are many tunnels going in all directions. This maze of tunnels, galleries, and chambers stretches over 5 kilometers. There are a number of dead ends and false doors. They may have been intended for the afterlife, rather than to fool thieves. Unlike the Great Pyramid of Giza, or Menkaure, the Pyramid of Djoser does not have any extra openings dug out by thieves. There was no need for them. Because of the easy access into the tunnels and along the corridors, thieves had little trouble clearing out the temples once inside. It is unknown when the mummy of Djoser was stolen. All that remained was a left foot, found by French Egyptologist Jean-Philippe Lauer in 1934. This architect, who devoted his whole life to meticulously exploring the complex, believed it belonged to Djoser.
I mean, it might. If that's like the only thing they found.
The Pharaoh's apartments, also known as the Blue Chambers, are decorated with blue-green tiles meant to imitate the reed matting that covered the walls and windows of his palace. The stone is carefully curved and painted to look like the rolled mats of open doorways and curtains.
Ah yeah, so this basically confirms what I was speculating earlier. If the greenish effect was like already intended or if it kind of like occurred over time. But yeah, definitely a was intentional then. I do like that color combination quite a bit, I have to say. Like, kind of like light blue turquoise. Hey, Vetamice, welcome in, dude. How's it going, my boy? Thank you so much for the resub with Prime Gaming. Thank you for choosing me this month. And yeah, hope you're having a nice weekend. We're currently learning about the step pyramid of Djoser here in the Discovery Tour mode.
There are 2 long rooms running side by side along a north-south axis. The south room has false doors separated by stone panels, while the north room is a corridor which allows access to side chambers. Nearby chambers originally housed the pharaoh's treasures.
It's interesting how the fire doesn't even do damage. The spider webs or anything. Because nothing deals damage in Discovery 2 mode. Nice, good so far, boy. You're training at work every month, so that's quite draining, but hopefully something better coming soon. How are you doing? That's good to hear. That's it's been a good weekend for you so far. And yeah, it's definitely fair if we'd have to go for like, you know, new stuff to learn. I hope you also have a good way to recharge. And, you know, that's it's not gonna be like an overly long process, hopefully. But they're doing quite well. We just got back from our vacation in Denmark. Levy, the doggo, and me. And yeah, it was very, very nice. We went on the east coast, on the eastern shore side. And yeah, enjoyed a bit of the beach and the environments there. Stayed at a pretty nice house in like the countryside, so yeah, really enjoyed it. And especially the doggo, because she just goes crazy about like beaches and sands and stuff, because it means she can dig as much as she wants. And you know, the ground is very soft, so perfect for running. Whereabouts? So pretty much on the other side of Odense, on the eastern shore of like the Denmark landmass. Maybe a bit further north, but about that ways. So more like in the middle to south, I would say. But yeah, on the east coast of Denmark.
The door frames are made of fine limestone and carved with the king's name. As in the south tomb, reliefs are carved into the doorways. These reliefs show the king performing rituals and visiting divine sanctuaries for all eternity. Their interiors are fictive additions made by the team to add to the wonders of the tomb. It is clear from the elaborate detail and scale of the complex that this funerary monument was a technological marvel of its time.
And that finishes inside Djoser's the pyramid. You need to go to Denmark. Some of your ancestors are from Aarhus, so you are wanting to visit them, and of course all the museums and landmarks. That would be so cool, dude. So, Levy's father actually went there one day. Like, we also wanted to go, but something came up, so couldn't. But yeah, that was definitely would have been a nice occasion to visit. There's also a Viking museum, I think, in Aarhus, or something in connection to like Viking history, which is also definitely worth visiting. We didn't go there because without Doggo, you know, we weren't like allowed inside. But yeah, it's like also, I think, the second biggest city in Denmark or something, isn't it? Aarhus. But yeah, Aarhus was like a bit further north, like probably still like another hour or so from where we were. We were in a place called Juelsminde. Alright, but yeah, that finishes the stair pyramid of Djoser, so now it's time to go back into the main game and focus a bit more Memphis. Still got a couple side quests there to tackle. Currently at 22 hours played and level 29.
Yes.
How can I help you? Beat.
Ah yeah, we could buy some new outfits here. Let's do it and actually add it to the reward as well. I think very soon I have to do a second command for outfits because it's getting quite full there. I probably have reached my character limit ages of the outfits.
Bia Jehuti hermaket e. Semukoa. I happy headset poat piti. Yeah, renting aan.
Okay, so let's go ahead and buy the Marseille Warrior.
Thank you.
And the Collect outfit. And we're actually gonna change into the Collect outfit as well. Magi or no Magi, looking good is top priority. Indeed. It's actually one of my favorites, I think, when it comes to like the base outfits in the game. Oh damn, we have 3 skill points here at the moment. This is quite overpowered in combat, I have to say. Let's make combat substantially faster, especially if we're going towards the arena. That seems definitely worth it. On like regular difficulty, I would hold myself back from getting this too early because it's definitely more of a late game ability for me, usually. But given the nightmare difficulty, I don't really feel bad about using, you know, overpowered skills in this playthrough. let's get the overpowered chain throw. After killing an enemy with an overpowered attack, press right bumper to throw that enemy's weapon at another target, which usually results in like a double kill essentially. Hey the puppet, welcome in. Lazy Sunday was hanging from the couch. Indeed. Yeah, it's also more of Lazy Sunday over here. But yeah, gonna be a good one. Gonna be playing some Origins, then I'm gonna watch my team play later. I'm gonna cook up some spaghetti with meatballs today, which I'm also very much looking forward to. Yeah, gonna be a good one. As long as my team wins. That's kind of like a thing that has to happen because they are fighting against a lower tier team as like part of a cup. So I gotta win this. But yeah, I hope you're having a nice weekend so far. With quite a few papyrus scrolls we could try to solve soon. But right now I'm not really in need of like any legendary items because I have some pretty good gear for my level. So we should be fine for now. Bowling competition? Yeah, not quite. More like football. Let's upgrade our breastplate further. For a bit more health here. Alright, and looking at the map, the next quest according to the quest order we follow would be the Baker's Dilemma. I'm Schalke. Not quite. It's also a blue and white kind of like striped team though. So the colors are quite similar. But yeah, my team is Berlin, Hertha, BSC. Like one of the two major Berlin clubs that we have. Currently in the second tier of German football.
Breads! Fresh breads! Breads in all shapes and sizes! Bread in the shape of the double crown!
This feels more like a quest that should appear during the day. Unless there's like supposed to be a night market. Let's get some morning bread then.
The finest bread in Memphis! Favorite bakery of Cleopatra the Queen! May the life and mind and memory of Amis the fruit seller be forgotten. Coriander seed bread, date bread, 2 loaves for the price of 1 on feast days. May the liver and lungs and stomach of Amis the fruit seller putrefy into ash. Hello, friend. Bread for your sweetheart?
No, thank you. Why do you speak a curse under your breath?
The magician who sold it to me said I must recite it 200 times a day. Since I cannot recite while I sleep, I do it while I work. Though it is hard to get any baking done without my taster.
What happened to your taster?
Gods blast the regime. They arrested him for not paying the tax on spices. And now I am out of cinnamon.
Looks like you need more than a magician. The regime presses even a poor baker so hard. Helping her would be a strike against Ptolemy, however small. And her bread smells delicious.
Freshly baked bread. Gotta love it. I've also baked some bread in Denmark actually.
And the baker is looking for.
Using like Danish like flour. And it kind of like turned out quite differently to like German flour bread. I've also got the flour from like different countries, I think, than we have. Might also be like a kind of like brand thing. But they're not like very soft and like very nice, especially taste-wise. It tasted like bread you would get from like a good bakery.
Teta! Oh, Teta, I am so sorry!
You are the taster?
I am he.
I can't kill or assassinate this dude. I can shoot him. Okay. Fair enough. Wie geht's heute, mein Freund? Sorry for the bad spelling today. That was very good, actually, Molle. Wasn't perfect, but, you know, I could definitely understand it. But yeah, it's definitely going quite well. Thank you for asking. Hope you're having a good weekend, Molle. Americans never understand the EU fetish for bread. They have shitty bread for, the kind you can keep for 7 days or so. Yeah, I haven't really gotten around eating some like American bread when I was there. We usually stuck to like cereals for breakfast when I was there, because we were like constantly on the road, so we kept like you know, cereals with us at all times. Usually like cereals with like bananas or something. But it definitely happened quite often that we just went to like a supermarket in the morning and just ate our breakfast out of the car. But yeah, what I do know though is they definitely put corn syrup in like pretty much everything, including the bread. And I'm personally not a big fan of like sweet bread. Unless it's like a sweet dish or something. You know, that's like supposed to be sweet, but when it comes to like regular bread, I like it to be, you know, maybe a tiny amount of sugar just to get like the yeast rising or something. Or not being like a dominant flavor. In Sweden, when I was there, they actually had like lots of regular bread that was also sweet. I reckon it wouldn't be that way if you go like to an actual baker, but the one you could buy like in the supermarket that's already like sliced or whatever was like so sweet, like holy shit. Damn, we actually got a high precision Garrett in the Discovery Tour. In the main game.
High precision, Garrett.
It would be fun if you could actually hear it in the Discovery Tour. I'm not sure I ever heard it being triggered there before. I probably just disabled most of the NPC quotes. Damn, we're on a roll. You're so tired today, Molle. I fear that. I didn't really have too much sleep tonight. Kinda went to bed, I mean, not super late, but late enough, and then I was like massacred by mosquitoes at night. So I didn't really sleep for like 2 hours just because of that. And when it was like super warm, so it wasn't the best night. Then I also had to get up very early. It's the high precision Gary hotspot. I'm just gonna stay here now for the rest of the stream. Just waiting for high precision Garys.
Teta, the baker, asked me to bring you to her.
My beautiful Teta. Now I can see her face again before I die.
Don't be so dramatic.
Weak with hunger and with love. Will you carry me to Teta?
If I must.
So dramatic. He's gonna be fine the moment we're gonna lay him on the ground.
Can you walk?
I am too weak even to stand.
Really?
My strength comes from the beautiful Teta.
Does she know you feel this way about her?
I have not yet been brave enough to confess my love for her. Also, I am a wanted man.
I can see that. You did not pay your taxes.
It has nothing to do with taxes. I'll tell you everything when we get back to Teta. Teta, beautiful Teta. Her face is like the sun. Teta, my love, I am coming to you. Hurry, not much further until I can see my love again.
This man is heavy. Too good at his job, I suppose.
I like how Bike even does like a bit of a fourth wall break there with his questions about like, can you walk? And he's like, really? You can't walk, huh? Or you can't even stand. But yeah, the moment you're gonna lay him down, the moment the quest finishes, he's gonna be all fine. But also with the NPC being overly dramatic, you know, that only the love can like heal him again.
Teta, you brought back my taster.
Yeah, I think he's a bit more than a taster.
This man has something to tell you.
Well?
Teta, I love you.
What?
And I uncovered a plot to poison the Lady Timehotep, beloved of the High Priest.
What?
What?
Lady Timehotep loves our cakes and bread. For 5 years we have delivered them to the Great Temple. But yesterday, I overheard the guard say that this week's cakes had been poisoned.
Have they been delivered?
I don't know. They'd be in the garrison if not.
Then I will have to move quickly.
This is all too much for me.
Would you like to sit down?
No, I need to think.
Of course, love.
Hush!
I'm sure nobody's gonna discover what's really going on. Here there could be a potential entry point here. Hey there, Momik, welcome in. Why Nightmare? Well, for the challenge, I suppose. With kind of like the 100%, you know, to act on top of it, because 100% is gonna make me quite overpowered with the amount of like items and XP I'm getting, so it's like a nice way to get a bit of a challenge on top. Can make also boss fights quite punishing if you don't manage to dodge in time.
I should not be seen in this area. basket of cakes. I got here in time. Now to make sure they will not poison anyone.
I'll leave that guy alive because it's just gonna act suspicious to, you know, roaming guards and convoys and stuff.
Hey, what? Ha! Can't outrun me. Hey, hold on. Time to die.
Another basket of cakes. These need to be destroyed too. I should check to see if there are any others. That is the last of the cakes. Tamhotep is safe now.
Die, idiot!
As for weather in Germany today, here it's cloudy and 23 degrees. It's very similar over here actually. It's pretty cloudy, not very sunny. Actually, it did like go down a little bit from the past couple of days over here. The past week in general seems to have been quite hot in Germany. So I was quite thankful to be in Denmark because it was about 5 to 7 degrees colder there. But yeah, let me check the temperature actually. Yeah, it's about 21 degrees at the moment. So, very pleasant temperature for sure. Alright, so this finishes the Baker's Dilemma. Next we're gonna do the Children of the Streets questline. It's been like this most of a week. That sounds pretty nice, actually. It's been above at temperature in Denmark for most of a week, like 23, 25 to 6 degrees. 21, can you borrow Germany's countrywide AC? I wouldn't mind if you wanna share a bit of the German weather. Is it a little cooler here in Sweden? It's definitely a nice aspect to think about living in the north of Europe. Whenever I was in Sweden was definitely, you know, usually very, very nice weather-wise. Alright, before we start this next quest, give me just 1 sec.
Hey, witch! What are you doing? Wait a minute! Get the bastard!
Alright, I'm back. Kinda got attacked there while I was talking with Levi. Also, hey there, Maxi, welcome in, dude. Thank you so much for the 43 months of resubbing. And how's it going? I hope you're having a nice weekend so far. And yeah, it's going well. We just got back from our vacation in Denmark. Really enjoyed it. Was quite beautiful there on the eastern shore side of Denmark. Payday tomorrow, you can buy more PlayStation Portable games and movies now. That's nice. I like playing, buying them on like a second hand type of market. They have a pretty cool one over here in Germany called Rebuy, where they kind of like refurbish, you know, like old games and movies and kind of like sell them for like pretty good quality. And you usually can grab them for like much cheaper than like, you know, buying them in like mint condition or something.
The farther you run, the worse it will go between us.
A magi should be quicker than you.
How can a child so small run so fast?
Go, magi! Get them! Hit them hard! You did it! I knew you could do it!
Smart child. You definitely found the right magi. Maxi doing good things, having a relaxing day today. Sounds nice. Oh yeah, that's great to hear, Maxi.
I know I made fun of you before, but you don't need to ignore me.
It's kind of funny they added dialogue for the kid being ignored by. It's like, come on, dude. Talk to me already.
Come here, I have to tell you something.
Also, thanks again for the images that you sent me, Maxi.
Fun of you before, but you don't need to ignore me.
I hope you don't mind me using them in the future for like, you know,
Come here.
Twitch and
I have
stuff.
to tell you something. I know I made fun of you before, but you don't need to ignore me.
On the Swedish Craigslist and on auction sites. Hell yeah, Molle. You can definitely get some good bargains sometimes on those kind of like
I have
products.
to tell you something.
For a while I was like getting like extending my movie collection every month by like I don't know, 10 to 15 DVDs or something. I eventually stopped because it was just getting a bit too much in terms of like getting it you know, displayed physically. But I definitely made sure to grab some of my favorite movies on physical. And I didn't really regret it because nowadays it has become more difficult to just have like one streaming service and be able to watch like the movie that you want to watch the most or rewatch the most. It's nice to have some of them like, you know, at your own discretion.
Tell you something. I know I made fun of you before, but you don't need to ignore me.
Cheers, Maxi. Yeah, absolutely. Especially the first one looks like it could be a really good profile picture.
Come here, I have to tell you
I
something.
like how calm the crocodile is just sitting there.
I know I made fun of you before, but you don't need to ignore me.
You're getting 10 games and 2 movies for $50. It's a good deal for you. Definitely. I mean, that's under $5 per like DVD.
Come here, I have to tell you something. I know I made fun of you before, but you don't need to ignore me.
Did you bring me here to get rid of these bandits?
Sure did. I'm extremely smart. Everyone says so.
How did a smart boy like you get tricked into working for bandits?
I don't work for them. This mean old lady locked up a bunch of us kids. She makes us steal for her.
Locked up?
Yeah, my sister was going to save us, and she said to meet her in the shipyard by the river. But she never came. Will you look for her? I'll steal you an apple.
Hey, you don't need to buy my help. It is yours for free. What is your sister's name?
Kawit, and mine's Ifri. If you find Kawit, tell her I'm mad at her. Sepine! Joseph, careful!
هن خريت لغة ياهو. نمس نيو جريان.
Come on, bike. Slide under this. I guess he doesn't want to. Someone bought them before you. Oh yeah? That's unfortunate timing. I'm sure you can strike another bargain. Yeah, sometimes you gotta be really fast with those kind of like auctions.
There's the mast from the banned ship. Colorful sail. Unusual. An oil seller. He may have seen Kawit. They kept the children caged. The ship was dry docked when it caught fire. Traces of oil.
Clear up, you peasants! Watch out! Coming through!
Keep your distance, or I'll break your face.
Easy now. Did you see a young girl around the shipyard yesterday?
I see lots of girls. Most not worth looking at twice.
They would likely say the same of you.
If it is information you want,
Nice
you have
burn.
just tripled its price.
I'd rather throw my coin pouch in the river.
Oh, he's gonna pay for that. You have oil, huh? You like to see it burn? You like to talk bad about others? And put children in cages?
I will tell you about the girl. Just do not break anything else.
Too late, dude. Now you're gonna talk.
By the limbs of Osiris, you are a cruel man.
What happened with the girl?
I looked at her twice. The second time, she was stealing my biggest jar of oil. She vanished like a demon in daylight. When I came back, ruffians were destroying my stock. May the lot of you sink to the bottom of the Nile.
I think I understand what happened here. Gawit stole an oil jar from that oaf of a merchant, then hid until nightfall. Under cover of darkness, she spread oil on the ship and set it aflame. The blaze spread to the whole vessel. While the ship burned, Kawit freed the children held on the docks, but the bandits must have caught her. Whoever owns this ship was responsible for the kidnappings. There's that colorful sail. The bandits are out searching for the child.
Where are those little shits? Any clue? Nothing! Stop him!
talk to that child.
Oh yeah, level 30. Another big milestone.
Your brother sent me here. Where is Kawit?
They took her and everyone else to a house in the city. Some rich lady named Gaia owns it. It's by the temple of Hathor. Will you save my family?
By the Mother Goddess, I will.
Will you save my family?
By the Mother Goddess, I will.
Thank you for follow, Billy. And welcome in.
شديد؟
So what do you miss most about your family? Mother's cooking, definitely. She makes a delicious mustard partridge. Sometimes I wonder why I left home.
I know why I left home.
I'd hate to see what she would think of me now.
Do I like the atmosphere of the game? I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite games in the series, and I think they did a great job recreating the end of ancient Egypt here. And I think the music also adds a really good layer towards the atmosphere of the game.
Gaia kept up quite an exchange of letters. I could learn more about her from reading these.
Gaia, we were expecting shipment to Alexandria. Where are the 20 bags of grain? The bags are needed for our contacts in Alexandria immediately. If you can't deliver, let us know and we will find a new supplier. There's enough grain in the countryside, but we're intent on taking matters into our own hands. No need to be so coy, Emilius. This is just between us. I suggest you do try and find a new supplier. Perhaps I can train the bags of grain faster than I, but I doubt it. Gaia. Gaia, our clients grow tired of your lack of progress. Emilius. Again, Emilius, no need to pretend we're anything other than business people working on an arrangement between each other. You can use my name. I found this batch of Egyptian grain a little more tiresome than normal. Be sure you will have your shipment within the week. Yeah. So it's just like code words for, you know, trading in children, basically. They're gonna pay for this. But yeah, she didn't get to finish her letter just quite. Actually, watching that scene where Bart goes, sleep, I never sleep, that scene gives you chills and the acting is so good. It really is. Like, what an opening for Origins and as an introduction to Surfer Bike as a character. You know, just saying that rage without knowing all the details, but you can really feel, you know, how authentic it is. And how good Abubakar Salim is in, like, you know, exposing that to the players, what he feels in that moment. But it was such a different portrayal from what I expected Bayek to look and feel like before playing the game and only seeing like the trailers and stuff. So I really liked it, you know, seeing kind of like also his range of acting and emotions.
Die then!
Why would the guard carry this key? It must unlock something important. I've got the key.
Then use it! By Amun's hairy nipples.
Amun's hairy nipples. Funny thing is, Amun is another code name Bayek uses for himself later.
The door!
Because Amun is the god of hiddenness, of a hidden one. You have an Alex, Billy? Very nice, that's cool.
The door!
Live forever. Did Ness send you?
No, young Ifrit did.
Where is he?
What do you mean?
I followed you the whole way.
Take Matia home. Go.
Why don't you go with them?
I'm going to track down that Roman bitch who did this to my family. If you want to help me kill her, meet me at the house of Neff.
And that finishes Children of the Streets. And yeah, there's definitely a follow-up quest here, which is Mortem Romanum, which is a much higher quest in level, but it's still a follow-up one and definitely level range for us. So I'm gonna go and directly continue here with the follow-up quest. Gonna find Gaia, the woman responsible for the child trade here.
Enough there! Yurt and back! Kere. Ned here.
Ugly to kill in front of the little ones. What happened here? Who was he?
Neff. The children called him father. This is his house. This is his house!
You are injured.
I don't give a shit. The Roman hag who did this leaves by boat for Alexandria today. Help me feed her to the crocodiles one piece at a time.
I can go alone. No need for you to bloody yourself, father.
It has to be me.
Is your need worth leaving the children unprotected?
Destroy her name, Bayek of Siwa.
I need to move quickly, or this monster will flee Memphis. Zenu can find a ship with colored sails faster than I can.
Alright, so she's pretty far up north here. Gonna just go over here and fast travel to grab a boat there.
Wait a minute. Die. Die. Hela.
Whoa.
There she is.
Whoa. This area is off limits.
I cannot wait to wring the neck of that wretched girl, Kawit. Can we turn the ship a little to one side? The sun is in my eyes.
The sun is in her eyes, huh?
This will be a useless trip. So little cargo and none of it human.
In the middle of the night. That's some proper first world problems here.
This river breeze is like to the breath of the north wind. Ambrose, go below and fetch my woven shawl, the red one.
Alarm! Trouble here!
Guards! An interloper has boarded my ship! Keep your distance!
Know where you can run to!
I will make sacrifice to you, Pluto, if you spare me. Dates, figs, a black pig! My men will gut you if you damage my smallest fingernail. I will make sacrifice to you, Pluto, if you spare me. Dates, figs, a black pig.
Dawit has a vengeance now. I hope it quiets her heart.
Yeah, not gonna be spared this one. Gonna stop the chart trade once and for all. I'm gonna lose so much money to just outfits, but yeah, I'm gonna buy some new ones here. Let me just add them to the outfit command.
ردتنا بسهم نية حوية من خرجلشونز سيا قوي ورتيه
بكت انستي شافها ضمك سكة
ستي وخرتي أنخ هنا عس تعاش معايو حق عاي وسن
مخمن بنفر هروف أعصت
Alright, so we're gonna buy the Ngai Na Niyoki and the Persian leader. Which means those are now the current available outfit choices. The Ngai outfit looks awesome. Yeah, I like the whole set of the Ngai variations, I have to say. Does look fancy, but in a nice way.
Mood keep you.
Alright, let me have a look at the mission complete tab here. So we have finished Tambotep's song, which means according to the quest list that I follow, the next quest would actually be the main quest in Memphis, because now we have finished all of the side quests in the city. I would like to take care of a couple locations here on this side, honestly, before we do that, and then I also want to do the discovery tour for Artisans in Memphis, but after that I'm gonna go ahead and kill the lizard. The Ngai outfit? Sure thing. Let me change it for you, Adam. Thank you for redeeming the outfit change. So this one then, the Ngai Na Niyoki. A Masai warrior garbed in red is one in pursuit of vengeance. Unfortunately, this Masai outfit is not red, so it doesn't matter. Looks very nice, actually. Let me make it daytime so you can see it a bit better. It doesn't have a hood on, so it's up to the player to kind of like choose if I want to have a hood on or not. You can choose it per outfit and toggle it at any point. For this playthrough I like to have a hood off to see more of Bike's facial expressions, and when I'm doing like infiltration missions like major assassinations and stuff, I will kind of like switch to hood on. But usually I play mainly with a hood on, so more like I changed it up a bit in this playthrough in that regard. It's a really nice feature actually. I kinda wish that more AC games had the option to just toggle that whenever you want to. I think Valhalla also had a very nice way of making that option available. Because it was an actual gameplay mechanic being like cloaked versus non-cloaked. change how you were perceived in like distrust areas. Release the lines.
Worms can pass you. Your time has come. I'll cut your guts off.
Oh Jesus fucking Ballista. Yeah, the ballistas are bad.
You there! Stop! Hey, what? Hold on! There you are!
What the fuck is Bike doing? First he doesn't want to climb up, then he's just like dodging down. Oh fuck. It hurts.
You will suffer for that! Set her au yes. Yes.
Hey now.
Let me see if I have a horse that kind of fits more with the color scheme here.
Whoa.
Tonight.
They will attack on sight here.
Wait a minute. Hey, wait! You cannot escape!
I have no idea how he actually saw me there. Still on fire. Amazing.
Alarm! Trouble here! You can't hide, corpse! Damn it. We're not idiots to be taken by surprise.
It's kind of cool actually that you can light the fire for them if you want to kind of like lure people towards a place. Or even like, you know, get more guards to kind of like come in the fort for more loot or something.
Hey! Why are you... You will not escape! Aha! There! That'll cost you!
Lighting the brazier? Yeah, I'm just going to do it for them.
Going to bury this shit. Hey, what?
You're finished!
Hey there, Hermione, welcome in. How's it going? I hope you're having a nice weekend. How goes the massive project? Yeah, pretty good. Had like a week break since I was on vacation. But yeah, we're back now and we're just focusing on finishing the region around Memphis and in Memphis. We've now done all of the side quests in Memphis and next is gonna be the Lizard. The next main target before heading to a Fayoum to take care of a crocodile. But yeah, exploration wise we've done some good progress already. We're also doing the discovery tours in addition to the 100% of the game. And yeah, there's been quite a lot between Alexandria, Giza and Memphis. So got most of it done now as well. But yeah, there's of course still much more to do. And many unknowns on the horizon. Remember I talked about my vacation road stream? Ah yeah. Memphis is quite big, yeah. Definitely the second biggest city probably after Alexandria. I would imagine. I mean, size-wise, it's definitely comparable. I mean, Alexandria might seem a bit bigger because of the whole bay area and like the lighthouse, but if you just take like the core city here, it's definitely similar sized. Maybe Memphis even slightly bigger actually. You got that reference from AC Odyssey. From Herodotus, one of the major companions to Cassandra or Alexius. Yeah, there's definitely a good density of quests and stuff to do in Memphis for sure. It's definitely nice to have like a bit more time spent there. Especially given its importance as a capital of ancient Egypt for a time. It was also nice as a contrast to the like more Greek, you know, themed Alexandria. Having one that kind of like predates the whole like Alexander the Great timeline. Oh, there's a stable. Maybe I should check for some horses or camels. I'm not gonna buy all of the mounts in this game or playthrough, but if there's like a nice design, I might.
Greetings, friend. Move! Do it!
I think I can wait a bit longer.
Bye for now.
بدلوك آني خيط.
Whoa. Not going in.
Out of the way!
Oh fuck, I had the horse. Sorry horse. It's still fine though.
A brief history of time.
Oh, thank you, Hermione, for redeeming history time. I appreciate it. Let me take care of it here after this occasion. Pyramid of Djoser, that's very good actually, because we've earlier done the 2 discovery tours of the Djoser Step Pyramid. So it's very much on topic as well for today. Yeah, we've done the discovery tours earlier on the complex of Djoser's pyramid, and then we also had to look inside of it.
You face the green god. Idiot. No. Wait a second. I'll rip you to shreds. Halt! Stay there, you. Hey.
Alright. Almost done with this area here, north of Memphis. Just a couple more question marks around the viewpoint here. But yeah, for now we're gonna head over to the Historical Research Center, and we're gonna have a look at the Wikipedia entry for the Pyramid of Djoser. I'm gonna zoom in a bit so it's like easier to read for you guys as well. Okay, so we already had like a rough introduction earlier, of course. Or actually quite an in-depth introduction to the pyramid here. So maybe we can navigate to like a sub topic. Yeah, so all of these chords and like the complex we've covered. I think what would be interesting is maybe reading up a bit more on Djoser here and his connection to the pyramid. Let's have a look here. Hermione can't get enough of this game. You don't know how many times we've completed it. It's just great. Same here, dude. It's definitely my most replayed game ever since it came out, really, in 2017. I haven't played any other game as many times as this one in the meantime. Like on and off stream, just couldn't get enough of it and still feel that way. But yeah, I just love the setting so much, you know, it's like one of my most anticipated setting in the series for sure. And they've done such a great job with it and with the characters and making the whole world also feel very handcrafted, you know. It really is oozing with, I think, love and dedication. So, Djoser was the first or second king of a third dynasty from 2060-70 to 2060-650 of the Old Kingdom of Egypt. He's believed to have ruled for 19 years, or if the 19 years were biennial taxation years, 38 years. He reigned long enough to allow the grandiose plan for his pyramid to be realized in his lifetime. Djoser is best known for his innovative tomb, which dominates the Saqqara landscape. In this tomb he is referred to by his Horus name, Necherichet. Djoser is a name given by New Kingdom visitors more than 1,000 years later. Djoser's step pyramid is astounding in its departure from previous architecture. It set several important precedents, perhaps the most important of which is the status as the first monumental structure made of stone. The social implications of such a large and carefully sculpted stone structure are staggering. The process of building such a structure would be far more labor-intensive than previous monuments of mud brick. This suggests that the state, and therefore the royal government, had a new level of control of resources, both material and human. Also from this point on, kings of the Old Kingdom are buried in the north, rather than at Abydos, which is one of the oldest cities of ancient Egypt, and also the 8th nome in Upper Egypt. Although the plan of Djoser's pyramid complex is different from later complexes, many elements persist, and the step pyramid sets the stage for later pyramids in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dynasties, including the Great Pyramids of Giza. Though the dynastic Egyptians themselves did not credit him as such, most Egyptologists credit Djoser's vizier Imhotep with the design and construction of the complex. This is based on the presence of a statue in the funerary complex of Djoser, his title of overseer of sculptors and painters, and a comment made by the 3rd century BC historian Manetho, claiming Imhotep was the inventor of building in stone. So very much a groundbreaking structure, and setting the standard for pyramids to come. As I mentioned, also the pyramids of Giza, which are probably the most famous, pyramids in Egypt. Totally agree, and also say what you will about the parkour in this game, but it's functional. I think so, yeah. And they've also done a good job, I think, with the layout of parkour in like cities. Memphis has a pretty good layout, and also some smaller cities. Even Alexandria, you can navigate over the rooftops quite a bit. And I think the side eject is actually pretty decent in the game too. You just have to figure out the height difference and when it triggers well. But bike also like being a bit more lightweight feeling definitely helps. I think making the parkour feel a bit more fluid at times. It's not Eivor or something. Well, I have to say, I do like how heavy Eivor feels, for sure. It is fitting with how much armor Eivor carries, and also Eivor being like a bit more compact, I guess. Thanks, Hermione, and thank you for redeeming history time as well. It's a good way of kind of like catching up a bit of extra knowledge in addition to the discovery tours. And especially for games that don't have a database or discovery tour. Like all the previous ones we've played so far didn't have much kind of like historical elements to read up upon. The only one really was the Pharaoh game, because it had like an entire encyclopedia on different topics and terms, which was pretty cool actually. But yeah, with the AC games, I'm gonna make sure to read up on all the database entries and do all the discovery tours if I can. Hey there, Bruce Wayne, welcome in. The last Assassin's Creed definitely was a very good one, and definitely was very much in the spirit of the previous games, like narratively, what they tried to achieve with it. But yeah, thanks for joining. How's it going? Yeah, my new favorite cities to do parkour in is Sarene, then Alexandria, and Memphis. Interesting to mention Sarene. Usually by the point I reach Sarene, it's like so late in the game that I usually just want to finish most of the quests, so I don't even spend too much time, I think, focusing on parkour. Maybe I have to do that this time and pay a bit more attention to the parkour layout. But it's definitely quite densely populated with the buildings for sure. So I can see how it might lend itself well to it. Also, be right back, 1 second. Alright, I'm back. What about Mirage? Yeah, I was also thinking about Mirage with the comment about the last Assassin's Creed, because Mirage definitely tried very much to be in the spirit of, you know, initial Assassin's Creed games. Did it succeed in every way? Maybe not, but that isn't true for every AC game before Origins either, I would say. But yeah, Mirage definitely really had the attempt to lean heavily into what is the core of Assassin's Creed. And you know the lighthouse in Sareen? I have a silly little ritual you always do when climbing up in it. Loop around and around. I do know the lighthouse you're talking about, yeah. But that's cool. It's nice when you find those kind of like parkour spots where you can just like mess around a bit with certain mechanics. That's something I've done so often in like Unity especially. Given how many like different parkour moves you can have. Especially when you can create like these loops, you know, or like kind of like infinite movements. In Unity, it's sometimes funny when you have like opposing standing walls and you do the like 180 back to back. And depending on the height, you can do it like infinite amount of times because you always get on the same height as you were hanging before. But if the walls are like tighter together, then it's a really cool way of also like climbing up by like jumping back and forth, because you always get like a height advantage from a 180. There's a little protrusion that spars around it that you can grab. I have to definitely remember that. I like to spend a bit more time in Sareen on parkour. The alley ascent, exactly. Such a nice parkour move. There's like so many cool parkour moves in the series that the average player usually doesn't really find out about until like replays. And I mean the same is true for me. There's like lots of stuff I didn't figure out on my first playthroughs either. But there's certainly, or there can be, quite a bit of depth in the mechanics of Assassin's Creed games. Players like Stealth Gamer BR are really good at like showcasing what is possible sometimes with like parkour and stealth and stuff. Absolutely. It was still a good way from Sareen. Let's actually go back into the game and have a look. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely doing good progress with the main stories, so main story-wise, we're already definitely well advanced here at this point. And a lot of regions we still have to explore, like the deserts especially, you know, they're gonna be done very fast. So most of the major regions are definitely done at this point. But yeah, Karanaka. Looking forward to get there. Alrighty, but yeah, let's have a look. There's still some locations here north of Memphis that I want to finish on. And after that, we're gonna go ahead and do the discovery tour on Artisans in ancient Egypt. We love his High Chaos Dishonored clips. Same here. I haven't even played much of Dishonored, but I love watching those so much. Just a master work. I actually watched his videos prior to my first playthrough of Dishonored 1. And he was the main reason for me to even check out those games, or at least the first game. But truth be told, I was not the best in Dishonored. I guess I'm maybe like a bit too used to like third-person stealth games. Or the comforts of like seeing what's around you. But yeah, especially when I was forced in in combat, I like just died so many times. I do know Treviso. Yeah, he's I haven't watched like much of his content lately, but the main reason I know him is from the Assassin's Creed Marathon. It was like a yearly event on the subreddit of Assassin's Creed, where basically they played through all of the games in the series prior to the new release coming out. They did that very actively until Odyssey, and then kind of like stopped because it just got too much with all of the games and how big Odyssey became and also Origins was. But yeah, he was one of the main moderators, so I had like lots of contact with him over there. But I do know that he's also uploading like clips on Assassin's Creed. Just haven't watched too many of them, really. He's also another German, I believe. It's cool you meant know as in know of, but it's cool that you've had interactions with him. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely more knowing of than like knowing him personally. I haven't really, you know, had like too much contact with him, but certainly rode a bit with him like in regards to the marathon. I used to like participate a lot in it when it was still like actively going. It's actually the main reason I started streaming, like the Assassin's Creed Marathon. I used to just stream like one sequence per day, basically, like according to the subreddit, because that's how much I played every day most of the time. So I did like very short, like 1 to 2, 3 hour streams or something, just covering that. But it wasn't when I like streamed like on a schedule, like you know, all year or something. That's definitely what got me into streaming in the first place. You like the 180 I did when I saw the snakes? It's like, nope. Exactly. It's like, not gonna die. Like this. Not again.
Be right there. Hey! Ha! Yeah!
It's like you can't loot this chest. Probably have to stand on top of it to be able to loot it. Even that doesn't work, apparently. Is it because this kind of like thing is standing on top of it, or why can't I loot it? No worries, Hermione. Hope it goes well with the chores. And yeah, maybe catch you later. Thank you for the lurk, dude. Really appreciate it. Okay, so I can't loot this apparently. That's not a cool game. I have to finish this occasion. And I can't do this.
This place is heavily guarded.
Probably have to reload. Okay, that works.
Damn, Anju!
What the heck? Never seen a visual glitch like this in Origins before. Looks like a pyramid gone wrong or something. Jesus. What is that? I guess that's what they call modern architecture. It's the inverted pyramid from Control. It's like work in progress for the pyramid from Control. It's like about to invert or something. But yeah, that looks interesting, I guess. Okay, let's just ignore that for now.
Precision gerecht.
We definitely had some good amounts of high precision garrus today. Can't complain about that one.
High precision gerecht.
Ouch. That NPC just drove her boat right over Bike's face there. Not cool.
Hametui. Via Jedani.
Just a couple crocs, yeah?
No, do you?
Happiness!
Whoa.
looted from the horse, apparently. It's kind of cool how many things you can actually do from the horse in this game. Like even looting in general. Also just like regular attacks, you know, ranged. Damn, it's a lot of prey bad here. Holy shit. Why can't I loot any of this? I guess because it's just like put there by the developers. They didn't actually, you know, kill them there for real. It's like an interactive world event. But yeah, I believe that's all locations finished now in the region of Inab Hedgehog Noma. Indeed. Well, we still have one in Karkam Noma up here, but we can do that once we head over to Heraklion and Imken Noma later in the game. But yeah, for now, the next thing we would be doing is killing the target, the lizard. However, before we do that, I want to cover the discovery tours about Artisans of Ancient Egypt. So let's go back to the discovery tour mode, and then we're going to take care of that specific discovery tour before going and killing the next target. So we covered Djoser's Step Pyramid earlier, and now we're gonna go and learn about the Artisans of Ancient Egypt. Learn about the daily life of artisans in Ancient Egypt.
Welcome to Artisans of Ancient Egypt. It was under the watchful eye of Ptah of Memphis, the god of craft and architecture, that ancient Egyptians developed the unique rendition of the world they lived in. However, it is vital to understand that their view of art and those who created it was likely very dissimilar to the modern concept of the word. Instead of artists, the creative culture had skilled and respected artisans. The most significant categories of specialties for crafters were drawing, painting, sculpture, and metalworking.
I mean, to be fair, like how we understand artists is still a relatively new form. Like for example, when you read up about the artists or like painters in AC2, like in the database entry for that, kind of like talks about how a lot of the paintings prior to the time and even in the time itself were often done as like jobs essentially for like, you know, for example, religious buildings, you know. And artistry in itself was more like considered a handcraft than, you know, like something super creative, you know. And of course, often they were also like followed by certain like parameters that were like set as a standard. It's definitely interesting how that concept of like artistry has kind of like changed and evolved over time.
Ancient Egyptian craftspeople created both art and a wide variety of mundane, everyday tools. Every item created had a specific purpose and was produced by anonymous artisans who worked alone or with a team. Most crafts, such as pottery and metalworking, were utilized for everyday items. Luxury goods and artwork illustrations served temple rituals and were not meant for public display. Artisans rarely signed their names to the work, though they were clearly aware that they possessed a unique skill and talent for the task.
Yeah, like here, you know, having like the most important and most luxurious arts and goods be displayed for temples and not for public display, or like private even. And every kind of like artistic, you know, good serving a certain purpose.
Art, in all its forms, has offered not only a practical insight into the way ancient Egyptians lived, but in how they viewed the world and their place in it. The balance of order and chaos was crucial in both the physical and the metaphysical universes. As a result, their art appears to follow a strict set of stylistic conventions that supported this worldview. From households and palaces to temples and tombs, pottery, papyrus, and textile items were essential to the everyday life of ancient Egyptians. In ancient Egyptian culture, drawing was used as illustration, such as seen in the Book of the Dead. It was also the first step in the creation of a relief, painting, or statue. Two-dimensional representations were concerned with order and form, and were intended to honor gods and promote the transition of the soul to the afterlife. Stylistically, Egyptians were concerned with the depiction of the human form's inner self. As such, artistic representations were not concerned with realism, but rather with idealized youth and perfectly harmonious visuals.
Yeah, one of the most prominent busts that was found of the Queen Nefertiti, which you can actually find in Berlin in the Egyptian Museum. It actually sparked quite the conversation, like that bus in particular, about whether or not they should be given back or if they should be, you know, staying where they are. Because in the end, you know, preservation is key with those things. But at the same time, you know, it's like a question of like, who does it belong to really? Does it belong to the people now living in the area? Does it belong to people that just, you know, stored or kind of like excavated places to try to preserve it? Does it belong back to where it was, but then, you know, basically eroding with time, or have other people steer it? You know, it's a tricky subject.
An exception to this were scenes depicting hunting and battle, where the environment and enemies moved in lively, even chaotic ways. Animals and foes were depicted piled up, as if describing chaos, with Egyptians standing in solemn, disciplined poses, bringing order to the scene. Reliefs could be either in high relief or low relief. Either method required a surface suited to the desired technique. Preparation of the surfaces differed depending on the quality of the rock. A quarried block only needed a simple smoothing. Rough-cut rock monuments, such as those found in tombs, required more work. Often the surface was coated in plaster before being sculpted. For reliefs, preliminary sketches were drawn in red, then framed with a red grid to position the elements of the scenes. Corrected sketches were in black, and once approved, the scene was ready to be carved. This method likely explains the name given to relief makers, the one who draws the outlines.
it makes a lot of sense, you know, like that way they can make sure to have the entire, you know, picture and what they want to depict set before the actual sculpting begins.
Statues were believed to be vessels for the souls of the deceased, or deities. That is why a sculptor was called the one who makes it live. This divine duty earned them the utmost respect. As with a relief, creation of a sculpture began with a drawing. Most statues were made of quarried blocks of stone, primarily limestone, though sometimes harder stones such as quartzite were also used. In ancient Egypt, the profession of crafter was organized and relied on a specific hierarchy. Most artisans depended on an institution to provide them with raw materials. There were 3 working levels for craftsmanship: domestic, large estates, and within palace and temple workshops. Some royal workshops at their largest covered an area of about 2.8 square kilometers in size. At the domestic level, most Egyptians were craftspeople to a greater or lesser extent. The ability to repair tools was a daily necessity. Crafted everyday items could also be bartered for at the local market. Artisans with skills but lacking in resources worked at large estates, where the elite provided them with space to work and raw materials. The most skilled artisans were employed in royal or temple projects and benefited from a special status. They were provided with good workspaces and considered to be highly skilled. An ancient text known as the Satires of Trades has a number of descriptive summaries that offer teasing glimpses into how artisans were perceived. A coppersmith was said to stink and have fingers that resembled crocodile droppings, while potters were said to be like those who lived in bogs. This view was likely exaggerated in order to highlight the most enviable position of all, that of the scribe.
It's like, I'm gonna write what I want, I'm gonna make you all look bad. That is real power. The trash talk is real.
Located near the Valley of the Kings, Deir el-Medina was a settlement created by order of the king to honor the most skilled artisans. Its name translates as the Monastery of the City. Allocated a house on the initiative of the king, these craftsfolk were regarded with respect and referred to as the royal artisans. Those who lived there worked on the tombs in the Valley of the Kings and its surrounding temples. Archaeologists believe the site was home to skilled and respected artisans for over 400 years. It is considered one of the most important discoveries relating to Egyptian daily life. While much of the focus of Egyptian archaeology was on its kings and queens, it wasn't until the excavation of Deir el-Medina that Egyptologists were given a valuable window into the community life of ancient Egyptian artisans.
And that finishes Artisans of Ancient Egypt. Which means we only have one discovery tour left in Memphis, and that is the Temples and Priests discovery tour. I'm gonna do this one now actually, because it's not very long, even though it's 25 stations. And it kind of like would be a good introduction point to the next main story where we're basically killing one of the high priests of Memphis. So gonna do this now, and then we can take care of the target afterwards. Learn about the influence of temples in Egyptian society and the role of a pharaoh and priests in ancient rituals.
Welcome to Temples and Priests. From its foundation, the city of Memphis favored worship of the god Ptah. The main temple of Ptah was known as Hutkaptah, meaning Palace of the Ka of Ptah. The name of the temple, translated into Greek as Aegyptos, would eventually evolve into the modern name Egypt. Temples were the center of religious, political, and economic life in ancient Egypt. These sacred places were viewed as the literal home of the gods and goddesses. As such, every aspect of them required care and reverence, all of which was accomplished through elaborate ritual.
That's why some of the art history was exclusively reserved to the temples, because nothing was more important than, you know, making a place worthy for a god, really.
Located in the center of Memphis, the Temple of Ptah was the most prominent and imposing building in the city. The long walkway leading toward the temple, known as the Dromos, was guarded by rows of sphinxes. The entire sacred area was designed to keep the statue of the god protected, deep within the sacred enclosures that surrounded it. The Dromos opened into a courtyard, with the surrounding portico graced with columns carved to resemble palm trees. During special festivals, the general population was allowed to enter this location, but under no circumstances would they be allowed into the sacred spaces beyond the courtyard. The Memphis Alabaster Sphinx was discovered in 1912, almost completely buried in water and sand. 8 meters in height and weighing in at roughly 90 tons, it is still mounted on its original pedestal. Though it is called the Alabaster Sphinx, it was in fact carved from common calcite rock, which is similar in appearance and texture to alabaster. Erosion has destroyed the original engravings, making it difficult to determine when it was created. Egyptologists believe that its facial likeness resembles Amenhotep II, and so it could have been sculpted somewhere between 1700 and 1400 BCE. It is believed that this monument once stood outside of the Temple of Ptah and was integrated into subsequent extensions to the complex.
Which also explains why they included it at this position in the game.
The size of the imposing sculpture reflects the importance it had to the temple during the New Kingdom. This Sphinx is one of the few remaining artifacts from the ruins of Memphis to survive.
It's really interesting because we just go past this in the game probably without really noticing much about it, you know, but it is very important in the context of history if it's like one of the only ones surviving from that time until today.
In Egyptian culture, some animals were associated with gods, while others were considered to be living gods. the Apis bull was believed to be a divine entity. The earliest mention of the Apis bull in ancient Egypt goes back as far as the first Egyptian dynasty.
That's pretty cool. I didn't remember this, but that the bull has like a living god kind of like status. I mean, it makes a lot of sense in the context of the game, right? Because they have a, you know, Apis bull in Memphis that is very important, and that gets poisoned by the high priest in the game. The kind of like showcase that the high priest isn't in touch with the god anymore. Where I literally thinking it's like a living god, you know. Definitely gives a lot more context to the storyline, I think, of the main game. And the Apis bull being poisoned.
Originally the symbol of fertility, the Apis bull was linked to the god Ra, with the image of the sun carried between its horns. Later it was associated with Osiris, the ruler of the underworld, thus becoming the funerary divinity Osorapis. During the 18th dynasty in Memphis, the Apis bull's association with the city's deity earned it the title Herald of Ptah. The Apis bull was so revered that even Alexander the Great, upon his arrival in Memphis, gave honor to Apis.
It's interesting that it was originally the symbol of fertility, because that's another connection to the main game story. That the wife of a high priest, you know, basically has miscarried a couple of times because she was also poisoned by the, you know, by one of the priests in the temple. Really to showcase, you know, that the gods are kind of like despising them, and to drive the name of a high priest into muck, as the Order member says later.
The Apis bull lived with its harem in a sacred barn located in an enclosure in the Temple of Ptah. Each bull bore 29 signs representative of its divinity. Among them, the bull had an eagle-shaped mark on its back, a double tail hair, and a scarab-shaped mark under the tongue. The signs were intended to correspond with the lunar cycle. After its death, Egyptians would search for its reincarnated form among the livestock.
It's like, who's the new Apis bull? This one, surely. That's a reincarnation.
Like other living divinities, the mortal incarnation of the Apis bull was prayed to, and when it died, it was given a luxurious funeral, which included mummification. Until the reign of Ramses II, the Apis bulls were buried in individual graves in Saqqara. During the 26th dynasty, the bodies of the bulls were buried in enormous stone vats in the underground corridors of the Serapeum of Memphis. Ancient Egyptians believed that temple rituals were essential to maintain order in the cosmos and allow communication between humans and gods. The pharaoh was required to bring offerings as part of a twofold promise made to the gods: to remain a just ruler and to prevent chaos from entering Egypt. Details of the ceremonies found on temple walls provide a thorough overview of the stages of the daily ritual. Performed 3 times a day to mirror human mealtimes, each step of the highly symbolic ceremony was accompanied by specific recitations, many of which referred to mythical events. high priest would first awaken the sleeping god with a chant. Then the seals of the shrine's doors were broken and the bolts drawn back. The act of swinging open the doors was a symbolic gesture where sight was granted to the deity. The priest would then bow and kiss the ground. The god was then washed with incense-infused water and its mouth rinsed with mineral salts.
A brief history of
The
time.
cleansing was followed by adorning the statue with jewels and royal garments. The final ritual required the priest to sweep away any footprints in order to prevent evil from approaching the god.
Thank you for dreaming history time, Dr. Darling. I'm gonna finish this Discovery tour and then we're gonna check out that article that you linked.
Heredity was the primary source of new recruits. Rarely was an outsider allowed this position. At the top of the temple hierarchy was the high priest. Each temple dedicated to a god had at least one high priest devoted to its care and service. During the Ptolemaic dynasty, one family held the position of high priest in Memphis for almost 300 years. High priest candidates made their way up the ranks of the temple hierarchy. The one chosen to occupy the lofty position of high priest was usually confirmed by the pharaoh. Several of the high priests were also important officials in the government. Families sharing the highest priesthood titles tended to make many alliances, thereby gaining more land and wealth. Shifting balances of power sometimes resulted in more or less open conflicts between the priesthood and the pharaohs.
Alliances? I would like to see the alliance map.
In the 21st dynasty, Thebes became the capital of an almost entirely theocratic government. The city was headed by king priests who spoke and governed in the name of the god Amun, in open opposition to the ruling pharaohs. These king priests caused a massive decentralization of power, known as the Third Intermediate Period.
Yeah, we're gonna see how important Amun is to Thebes in the Curse of the Pharaohs DLC, actually. Because the High Priestess of Amun is like one of the most major side characters in that DLC.
The educational institution in ancient Egypt was known as the House of Life. Attended by the offspring of the elite and the clergy, it was a place tailored to the social status of its attendees. The earliest references to this type of institution date back to royal decrees of the Old Kingdom. Only two known centers have been uncovered, one in the abandoned city of Akhetaten and one at the temple of Ramses II on the west bank of Thebes. Inscriptions uncovered in those locations mention the names and titles of people who were connected with the House of Life, such as a chief physician and many scribes. It is presumed that by the late kingdom, every temple had a House of Life. The House of Life offered training for the elite, destined for occupations such as astronomers, doctors, veterinarians, diplomats, architects, translators, or theologians. Some institutions focused on specific disciplines, making them a central hub for the country. Not limited to instruction for young students, The House of Life was a source of reference for many scholars, with rooms dedicated to papyri of many disciplines. Because papyri were preserved there, the Greco-Romans referred to the House of Life as a library. Ancient Egyptian economy was based on an unequal system of redistribution of goods. The state of Egypt collected the crops, and the temples distributed them throughout the provinces. Since the only people capable of counting and ensuring a fair redistribution were the educated scribes, this meant that the temples played a pivotal role in this process.
Knock knock. Hey Varot, welcome in dude. Thank you so much for the raid. And welcome into all of you raiders. To some Assassin's Creed Origins. We're doing a 100% Nightmare difficulty run. And we're also covering all of the discovery tours in the game. Currently we're learning a bit about temples and priests in ancient Egypt, specifically Memphis. But yeah, welcome in everyone. Thank you so much for a follow there. Coolman Jiwas. Thank you so much. How's it going? Welcome in Sunny. How was the stream today? I hope Splinter Cell went well. Hey there Drake, welcome in. New to the channel, I'm Drake. I have never heard of you before. I never heard of you either in the last 4 years and 10 months. How's it going, Drake? Hope you're having a nice weekend. Pretty new indeed. You're doing well, Jiwas? That's good to hear. Glad to hear it. Hope you enjoyed a bit of Splinter Cell action over at Rods. But hey Sunny, it went shit, was still stuck at the same level for a couple of hours and rage quit the game. Sorry to hear, Rod, that really sucks. That's you couldn't get past that with the challenge. That would be so annoying and frustrating, you know, especially if you have to try for multiple hours at a time to get through the same level. You're up to the last part of the mission on 2 occasions but got hit. A chopper is shooting at you constantly and also ground enemies. I can't only imagine how tricky that would be. You know, like dodging bullets in itself, but then dodging bullets from ground units and from a chopper. It's like, get to the chopper. Yeah, I'd rather not. I just want to get away from a chopper. So do you think it's possible to get it done? Because it seems like you've, you know, tried all kinds of ways to get it done. I'm pretty certain that the game or the level probably wasn't intended to be done that way. But that's really annoying that the game just doesn't, you know, really allow you to get past that. I reckon it might also be quite RNG dependent, right? Depending where the bullets fly. But yeah, maybe it's gonna be another case of like rage quitting the game and then, you know, next session you're just gonna get it done like immediately. So maybe it's a good call on just calling it quits today and, you know, not worrying too much about getting frustrated too much more. Drake doing well. Rod had a Rod rage. Yeah, that's how it can be sometimes. I'm definitely sure it was well warranted, as usual. My favorite Rod Rage is when Micah gets killed in Red Dead Redemption 2. That's like a good form of rage. when he gets like dozens of shots in his crotch, because he deserves it. Also true, and if you're not careful, the chopper can even hit you when you're behind cover. Definitely possible. It's pretty tricky at the end because there's a lot of buildings and things to navigate as well. I see. Well, then it's only gonna be a matter of time, I guess. I'm sure you can get it done next time. But yeah, that wouldn't help, you know, if you're like in cover and you still can get hit. Would make it quite unreliable, you know. Rob would rather play AC Rogue than do any no damage run. If that's the case, then you know it's pretty bad with a challenge. If one would rather play Rogue than, you know, suffer through hours of the same level. I think I'd rather suffer through hours of the same level than play Rogue right now. But you hope so, because there's only 3 missions left and then you can move on to the final game you're doing, Blacklist. That would be cool. If you can get it done quick. Have you decided yet what kind of run you want to be doing with Blacklist? I assume it might not be another hardcore challenge immediately, to give you like a bit of a break. Seems like my shoutout is bugging around again. Let me check that real quick here. I guess CloudBot disabled itself again. It likes to do that every couple of weeks. Huh. It should work actually. Weird. Let me just disable and re-enable CloudBot. Okay, that worked. So I would like to highly recommend checking out Rod Legion if you haven't yet. He's another massive fan of Assassin's Creed and is playing the games every year, at least once through the series. He just recently finished his series run actually with Assassin's Creed Mirage, doing a stealth challenge, and also limiting himself with what kind of tools he could be using, and whether or not you know, guards could be detected or not, even as they are dead. Has played through all of the games multiple times before, and super knowledgeable as well when it comes to Assassin's Creed. He's also a big fan of games like Splinter Cell, of course, which he's been playing today, but also horror games. He also does a horror month every October, where focuses primarily on horror-related games. And always a great time being there and checking out the show, listening to some awesome impressions of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Thought it was something you were going to do with Conviction, but then it would mean having to come up with something different for Blacklist, because you wanted to make sure each game had a different challenge, but you're looking forward to doing a different challenge. That's definitely fair, yeah. Kind of like make it a different one depending on the game, to give you like a bit of a variety as well. The bot is motionless like Osiris, already preparing itself to stay motionless. And you haven't forgotten about the history time either, Dr. Darling. Just gonna work on getting this Discovery Tour done. And that's no worries for the shoutout, Rod. More than happy to give you one. As always. And thank you again very much for the raid as well.
There are records of pharaohs making offerings of large tracts of land and animals to temples in order to maintain their favor. Ramses III offered generous gifts to the temple of Amun in Karnak in such a manner.
Hey there, Anemone. Welcome in.
Palaces, warehouses, and granaries were built inside the temple compound to better control the redistribution of goods. The size of the recorded numbers of goods, combined with every other function filled by temples, only serves to confirm their might as economic, religious, and political centers of power within Egypt.
And thank you so much for the follow as well. How's it going? I hope you're having a nice weekend so far. And that finishes temples and priests. I want to take care of this before we actually assassinate the lizard, who is gonna be the priest target of Memphis, the one who's been poisoning the city. But yeah, that also finishes all of the discovery tours in Memphis now. We've done mummies of ancient Egypt, artisans, the city of Memphis, the major regions of Egypt, temples and priests. There's also more, I think. Yeah, we've also done Djoser step pyramid, the complex and inside of it. So yeah, the next one we would be doing is once we make our way over to the Fayum. There's still some over here of the Red Pyramid of Dashur and the Bend Pyramid as well, which is where Bark actually killed his first target. And we're also gonna go into the region where Natron is being harvested, I guess, and taken over to Memphis for mummification. And it's gonna be another region dealing with Bark's first kill. The kill that set him on his path of vengeance, really. Then we have Sneferu's first pyramid. And the evolution of pottery in ancient Egypt. All of them pretty short, so we're gonna get through these quite fast. But I won't be doing until next time though. And yeah, then in Fayum there's gonna be not too many discovery tours. There's only one over here for domesticated animals. And then we have one in Crocodilopolis. And right next to it, but yeah. That whole story arc with the crocodile is gonna be not quite as discovery tour heavy as the one for the lizard or the hyena. But yeah, doing good progress with the discovery tours. At this point, we definitely covered quite a bit of it. In the morning it has been calm as fuck and we found more fruit and berries, but it will be soon raining. Oh yeah, that sounds great. Sounds like a nice day. I love fresh fruits and berries. So delicious. I love like freshly picked raspberries and strawberries and plums and cherries, and yeah, can't get enough of those kind of stuff. We usually had a bit of those in my parents' garden. I mean, strawberries we didn't have, but we had like wild growing raspberries, and we had like cherry trees, like a pretty massive cherry tree, and like lots of apple trees. In fact, every year they kind of like harvest the apples there and make like really nice fresh made juice out of them. like a couple gallons pretty much, and then it like lasts for an entire year until like the next season. Not so warm. You would love it too. Germany has way more nature than Denmark, right? And also making smoothies. Yeah, I mean, Germany has definitely lots and lots in that regard. It kind of depends, of course, where you are and what kind of like plants you might be finding. But it can vary a lot, of course. For example, the more you get to the south of Germany, the more you have like, you know, grapes and stuff and kind of like winemaking. Because it's like going into the more like mountainous and warmer climates. Closer to the Alps and stuff. And then in the north you have like lots more fields and like, you know, typical agriculture because it's a very flat land. And like lots of like lakes and stuff, lots of fishing. Lots of cattle. Heard of those German grape farmers? Yeah. As a personally, I'm like more from the north of Germany, so I haven't spent all that much time in the south, but I do have family in like the south west of Germany and quite a few friends in like the Bavarian area. So I've been there a couple of times. I've never really been in like the Alps. I have to do that at some point. I would love to actually go there for like skiing and snowboarding at some point. Yeah, wolves, you could definitely run into a wolf. I mean, I've never been running into a wolf personally, but there are wolves in Germany. They were almost, I think, gone for a while, but have been brought back. Now bears, I'm not too sure how likely you would be to find a bear. I think they're really rare, if ever they would appear. I don't think they're actually in the wild here, but I can have a look actually. Because now I'm intrigued. So apparently bears have been extinct in Germany for like 150 years, but there have been sightings apparently. It could also be, for example, that they came from like a neighboring country into Germany or something. But yeah, raccoons are popping up everywhere as well. Like that's definitely a species that isn't native to Germany whatsoever, but has made its way here. And is definitely expanding at an alarming rate actually. Actually becoming a problem in some places of Germany. Alright, so we don't have enough time anymore to do more in the game. However, I still want to cover the history time that Dr. Darling redeemed earlier. But after that I will have to call it for today because there's still some stuff I have to take care of. Let me just see real quick what Dr. Darling redeemed here. I'm away to Denmark too. I would imagine, yeah. Given how connected Germany and Denmark are. Hopefully it's not gonna become like too much of a problem going forward. Okay, I found the link that you posted, Dr. Darling. So this one is about the sea people. I wasn't actually sure what to think of it because it sounded so like general, you know. But there's actually an outfit in Origins about the people of the sea, isn't there? Like a legendary 5,000 drachmae cost outfit. Wonder if it's maybe related to the ones being talked about here. It was great to catch my first stream back from vacation. Thank you so much, Rod. I really appreciate it. I wish I could have streamed a bit longer for you guys since you just joined in not too long ago. But there's of course gonna be more Origins again next week. But yeah, thank you so much for joining again as well. If I'm going to Denmark or Sweden and want challenge friends, buy surströmming fish. Oh, I heard of that. I've actually seen videos of that being like a can or something being opened, and it just smelled so bad. You know, they just literally had to vomit, or you know, like the entire place was like contaminated. I think they even say that you shouldn't open it indoors because it's like such a strong smell. It just covers everything like immediately. It's like, isn't it like kind of like fermented fish or something of sorts? Cheers, Sunny. It is, yeah. Yeah, that would be horrible. Not sure if it's the same, but I know there's also like fermented whale or something that they like lets actively rot. Not sure if it was in Finland or if it was in Iceland. But it's like whale, or I think it's whale that gets like actively rotted over multiple weeks and months. And that they let rot to a point where the meat becomes like super tender or something when they eat it. But everyone who isn't from the region and who gets to taste it is like immediately, you know, in vomit mode or something. Can't even imagine. It's like a delicacy basically for people there, but wouldn't be for me. I'm not sure how it's called actually. Maybe I have to have a look here after this one. So, the Sea People were a group of tribes hypothesized to have attacked Egypt and other Eastern Mediterranean regions around 1200 BC during the Late Bronze Age. The hypothesis was first proposed by the 19th century Egyptologists Emmanuel de Rouge and Gaston Maspero on the basis of primary sources such as the release of the mortuary temples of Ramesses III at the Medinet Habu. Subsequent research developed by the hypothesis further, attempting to link these sources to other late Bronze Age evidence of migration, piracy, and destruction. While initial versions of the hypothesis regarding the Sea Peoples are as a primary cause of the late Bronze Age collapse, more recent versions generally regard them as a symptom of events which were already in motion before the perpetrated attacks. The Sea People include a well-attested group such as the Luka, as well as others such as the Weshesh, whose origins are unknown. Hypotheses regarding the origin of the various groups are the source of much speculation. Several of them appear to have been Aegean tribes, while others may have originated in Sicily, Sardinia, Cyprus, and western Anatolia. Sardinia is actually the island where my doggo is from, or our doggo. She was like rescued there from like a trash place, basically, like a massive trash place. Is where she was found and her siblings. Like someone kind of like dropped them off there or something, or maybe the mother gave birth there because she was already like a stray. So they got like rescued there, then they got transported all the way to Eastern Europe before they came to Germany to be adopted. So my doggo had quite the journey behind her. But yeah, originally she's from Sardinia. Either you don't eat meat, that's definitely fair, yeah. Yep, you found tastes amazing. Awesome. I love like freshly plucked apples. Edward, piracy? I've never heard of a term before. I'm not a pirate. I'm a privateer. I would never misspeak, privateer for pirate. It's so funny when he kind of like does that misspeak when talking to Steve Bonnet at the start of the game. And he doesn't even notice either, Steve Bonnet. Yeah, sounds good, Anemone. Hope you enjoy those airboats. Hey Vascar, welcome in. But Classic Steed, oblivious to those things. He was more enjoying his, drink or something, his like cup of rum. To be buffered to listen. Or maybe to figure out how like an eye patch kind of like works or something. Is Origins and AC1 the same thing? Not quite. So AC1 is about the kind of like assassin brotherhood that historically existed in the medieval times during the Crusades, the Third Crusade to be precise, in like 1191. And Origins is set quite a bit earlier. Origins is about the actual founding of the brotherhood that predates the historical order. And that one is set in 49 BC, during the end of ancient Egypt with Cleopatra and Caesar. So quite different settings and different narratives and locations. But yeah, while you could say that AC1 is more about like the origin of the historical order, in some ways, Origins is more about the in-lore origin of what predates that order of assassins. But yeah, so much to history time. This is, as I mentioned before, kind of where I have to call it for today. So we're gonna continue here next time with the assassination of a lizard. And yeah, then we're already gonna make our way towards the Fayoum to take care of target number 8, which is gonna be the crocodile. Quite fitting. But yeah, for today this is gonna be it. I would like to thank you all so much for coming by and for joining me for my first stream back from vacation. Next week we're gonna definitely keep on focusing a bit more on Origins. I would like to get some good progress done and maybe even getting into the like finishing stages of the main story. Because there's not too much actually. Once you get the crocodile done, we're gonna unlock a quite major point of the story. So yeah, we're gonna see how much we can get done in the next week here. No worries whatsoever, Misty. Thank you for being here and for joining. Glad you enjoyed it. No worries, Rod. Thank you also again so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your day and night. You too, Anemone. Enjoy those apples and fruits and berries. Thanks for being here. And thanks also again for the follow. Catch you next time, Jiwas. Thanks also again for a follow and for tuning in with a raid. So we are going to go and raid out to Jay, who's playing some Persona 5 Royal for its first ever playthrough of it. If you would like to join us for the raid, there's some raid emotes in chat that you can copy and paste if you like. Thanks both members for Rod. Now nobody can miss them in chat. Guaranteed. The double raids. That's like the double shoutouts. Thanks, Anemone. You too. And yeah, I will catch you next time. Until then, enjoy the rest of the weekend. And I hope you all have a great rest of your Sunday. Until then, take care.